What do you,
Oh wait,
what
no,
do you
no,
gain?
hold on. No, I think we're doing. Oh shoot.
What do you gain? You seem like an Age of Empires type of man.
No, like Baldur's Gate 3, like
What's that?
RPG.
Have you played that?
It's like a D&D inspired
Baldur's
RPG.
Gate?
Baldur's Gate 3. It's super like popular.
I play sports.
I play sports. I mean, I probably will watch some more Drive to Survive as well.
Interesting. Let's get into it. Every business wants more leads, but not just any leads, quality leads that convert and drive real business results. How do you separate the high value opportunities from the time wasters? I'm Josh, this is my co-host Carson, and on MFAQ Marketing FAQ, we dive into real marketing questions, give expert answers, and share actionable insights that we found to supercharge your marketing, working with over 273 clients over the past 10 years. That was not my most smooth introduction, Carson. I'm kind of upset about that one, but we're not going to restart. First question for you, Carson. When you hear quality lead, what does that mean to you?
A lead that makes your business money. I mean, it could be an MQL or an SQL, a marketing qualified lead or a sales qualified lead. But at the end of the day, a quality lead is a lead that matches your marketing strategy's target. It was in what you were aiming to get accomplished with your strategy, and it is good for your business.
Okay. So what would be an example of a high quality lead for a plumbing company?
A plumbing company. We always with the
We always go with
companies.
plumbers.
I mean,
Where my plumbers at? Am I right, Tom?
A quality lead for a plumbing company is a job, like a job. If someone actually has a problem, needs them for a solution. Like that's a very basic one, right? That's an easy one to do because they are such a need servicing business. Like you only call a plumber when your wall is raining. Or something has broken, right? Or you want to do an install. There's a necessity, thus they call. So they're very easy to get a qualified lead for. You can, in your marketing efforts, get poor quality leads because you haven't targeted it correctly. But if you're doing it right, you get quality leads almost, I'd say, 80-90% of the time.
Okay. Cool. That makes sense. So what would you say to this idea? If you had to hear someone say, any lead is a good lead, what comes to mind when you hear that?
No, not any lead is a good lead. I look at the automotive industry, okay? Automotive industry, there is a part of that cycle of getting your vehicles online where sometimes the way that the software and the imports and exports of data work is that the car can end up online retailed without photos of it because of how it was stocked into inventory. So you can then, in theory, get a lead on that car of someone asking for photos or just wanting to know what color it is, right? Now, if you were saying any lead's a good lead, if it's a used car, right, and that person was like, I'm looking for a car, this is the right make, model, year, but I want a black one. And the car that you took in on trade was bright blue, do you think that those two are going to match? Are he's going to be willing to sacrifice the color for such a different color, right? This is where the guy asks for what color it is, and you're going to tell him, oh, well, it's bright blue. Oh, well, that doesn't fit what I'm looking for. He moves on. If it's Eddie leads a good lead, you're going to keep chasing that man until the end of the day. Maybe you try to suggest different vehicles for him. Maybe you try to sell him something else. But at the end of the day, that lead versus the lead that came in on that car when it was fully merchandised correctly, and that person asked, hey, what are the best payments on this? Can I come in and test drive? They're not equal. So no, not every lead is a good lead. Every lead is a lead. Every lead's a lead. But a good lead is not every lead.
Okay. So when should a business, going off my question list here, Carson, when should a business focus on low quality? What level of attention should, let's say in that example, that dealership put towards that person that's saying, hey, I'm looking at buying a car, doesn't fit the right color, I'll I'll walk away for now. What type of attention, what type of follow-up, should you prioritize that still? Like, what does that look like?
That's more like a sales thing. Like, that's more your realm of things, where it's like, hey, what
let's get into
level
that.
of let's get into that. What level of effort is the sales department going to do? If you're coming from a marketing standpoint, like you, the point from a marketing standpoint on that type of thing of getting that lead is identifying how and why that happens. Sometimes, like my example I gave, it's inevitable. Just based on how it's going to work out, it's an inevitability that is still going to happen. That's where you, hopefully your sales team, your lead answer, your BDC, whoever is responsible for taking and controlling and doing something with those leads as they push them through their funnel, they deem the level of effort that it should be process built for the business, right? It's not a marketing specific answer.
Sure, I like that answer. Okay, so businesses need to be selective. They need to have criteria for what a qualified lead looks like. What would be the risk of a business being maybe too picky and maybe turning away people that otherwise they could sell their product or service to, making money, but they say, oh, but that's not who I sell to? What's the risk there?
Well, I mean, that you alienate potential customers. Like you pretty much said it right on the bat. It's like you alienate potential customers, and because you've done that, you no longer have that opportunity, right? On the flip side, like, it's like a swing, or it's like a seesaw. You don't want to go too far, or a pendulum, that's the term. It's a pendulum. You don't want to swing the pendulum too far to either side. You want to find a nice happy medium, right?
Okay.
Like, being really, really picky in some instances is actually best practice if the business has a super niche down solution. Like, we have a client who works in data analysis, okay? They analyze data and they train companies on the software that they use to do that, okay? They specifically excel with 3 pieces of software, okay? There is an innumerable amount of software out there that can do this job. They are highly picky about who they work with because their expertise lies within a very limited niche range of people. So their qualification might be quite strict because in order for them to get an MQL or a marketing qualified lead, it needs to fit these type of parameters first before they ever even put it through the sales funnel, in which then the sales team will then turn it into an SQL, where the sales team has now gone and qualified that person to make sure it is a good fit after it left marketing.
For sure. Okay, that makes sense. So it all comes back to strategy at the end of the day. Do you alienate otherwise people that could give you money that are somewhat similar or sort of parallel services, but you say no because I niche down here, and if that's part of your long-term strategy, ultimately that could make you more money long-term?
It's not the strategy that is designed to alienate. It's the strategy that's designed to qualify. Like an MQL, a marketing qualified lead, is what you should aim for by your marketing strategy. Your marketing strategy should bring you an MQL, i.e. someone who fits the parameters of what you were targeting with your marketing. So if your marketing said, I need, John Smith, and John Smith fits this, and this criteria, and Alex Horn, right? Famous Alex Horn from the Taskmaster, the Taskmaster assistant.
Oh, yeah, I love that show.
Yeah.
The show's fantastic.
Say he comes in and he fits all the criteria that you set up for your MQL, he becomes an MQL. You don't care about who he is at that moment. Does he fit the criteria? Great. Pass him on the sales. Sales' job is to now talk, have a discussion, and then turn him into an SQL.
Okay, so talk more about that then. MQL, SQL, marketing qualified lead, sales qualified lead. Let's say in the automotive space, because that's where you have extensive experience, and that's where we reference back to. Where have you seen best practices between that transference of an MQL to an SQL? Where have you seen certain things kind of fall apart when it comes to qualifying and prioritizing who you're going after?
So the biggest pitfall of that is actually when you have a qualified, like an MQL, you have a proper market qualified lead that passes on to the sales team, and the sales team either, what's the best polite way? Fucking just looks at it and goes, no.
That's polite.
Yeah, I mean, it's You do all this effort. You build all this
there
stuff
we go.
up
Okay,
to
yeah,
go
yeah.
and get this freaking lead, and you give it to them.
I'm with you.
And they go, it doesn't actually look that great, and they don't qualify it properly. They don't give it the proper attention. And then you're sitting there going, man, we don't have that many SQLs. Like, what's happening is, well, we keep giving them this lead, and they don't like these people, or they don't think that they're worth their time. And then that's okay. Well, then someone goes, well, let's call and follow up, right? Let's do some natural sales stuff, and they find out they bought a car. It's human error. 90% of all issues with sales is human error.
Yeah.
And it's laziness at the end of the day.
For sure.
Right? Marketing brings it into a business, and it doesn't need to be an automotive business. It can be a lead generation focused business. It can be even an e-commerce business with not having the proper, say, abandoned cart flows set up. You are essentially taking someone who moved through your marketing, liked your product enough to add it to the cart, and then you didn't send them in a proper email flow to help try to nurture them into a sale after the fact because they didn't one-for-one buy your product.
And hence why people could say, oh, but that wasn't a quality lead. But if they're sitting with your product in their cart, what are we doing?
If you have $50,000 of people with add to cart value, your current add to cart value is $50,000 of possible revenue, and you're like, oh, well, they just didn't buy it right then and there. What are you doing about that? Letting it just sit there and just, lapsing? I mean, it's the equivalency of going, oh, well, like, laziness. Again, it comes down to laziness. It's, I don't know if you agree, but like the top 10% of salespeople sell 90%.
90% of the
everything of the pie. The top 10% sell 90%. That leaves 90% of salespeople with 10% to share.
For sure.
That is mental to me.
100%.
And it comes down to hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. You could be the most talented person in the world. You could have the best product.
Yep.
You could have the next product that is going to revolutionize your industry or your space or whatever it is. And because you're lazy and you just rest on your laurels, you don't get anywhere with it.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, I've seen a lot of charismatic people make a lot of money in the short term, but the people that actually make a substantial difference in sales teams in their own monetary income, it's the people that are most disciplined in their follow-up. Very little slips through cracks. Completely agree. Okay, so coming back to marketing then. When it comes to trying to get better quality leads, getting those MQLs in, there we go. What are the top factors that influence the quality of leads coming in? Is it about your targeting? Is it about your creative, your offer, something else? All of it? Like,
it's everything.
Walk us through that.
It's everything. Like, again, I think it's a running theme now. I keep saying strategy. It's your strategy. It's what you've put in place to achieve the goal. So let's go and say my goal is to sell, what was it, beard oil last week? I think it was beard oil.
Beard oil, yeah.
Okay, we're going to sell
We
beard
tried to do makeup stuff, but we hit a wall real quick.
Anyways, so we're going to sell beard oil, okay? So we're going to be Josh's Beard Oil, okay? Company.
There's got to be a Viking logo.
Sure.
That'll crush.
Okay, imagine this. You have all your branding, all your logos, everything really good, done up. You worked with someone to make strategy, and then when you went to implement it, okay, that person in their targeting went in and said, well, beard oil is for men, so they only targeted men. Beard oil is for people who can grow beards, so they decided that they wanted to target people who are 25 and older, because they most likely are able to grow a full beard. Not, and again, this is the point of this.
Should have seen 16-year-old Josh's face. Hey.
But that's the point. So imagine this. They do all this, and it sounds right. Okay,
Yeah.
It sounds and it makes sense. And then sales just aren't going. They're trickling it, but they're not going. And then you kind of go, okay, well, don't women buy gifts for their husbands or their partners, right? Okay, or their friends. People have birthdays. Don't younger people grow pretty good beards? Josh at 16, right? Like, you have to open up and not just be like, oh, well, my product's ideal person is just this. That's where you get, like you said, you've alienated a bunch of people even in the strategy, because the strategy didn't take into account gift buyers. We had a client who sells high ticket premium toddler, what do you call those? Like mats, cribs, playpens. Like they do that. That's what they sell. And they're very, like, average order value is $700.
Insane.
But people, when they want for their kids, they spend a little bit more, right? Especially you want safety, you want premium, you want good quality stuff. But we were discussing with them, they're like, this is who our ideal buyer is. And it was our responsibility to go, okay, well, we'll go do some research and we'll come back to it. And I said, hey, gift buyers, close relatives, so not like distant, but close relatives, good friends will also probably want to buy these things for baby showers, for spoiling them, things of that nature. So we should make sure we don't alienate these people in, say, messaging, or develop messaging specifically for that use case.
Okay.
Right? In Josh's beard oil, you could have your primary campaign target exactly who your buyer is, and then have secondary stuff set up to speak to the other people. You can call it
Speak to the spouse that's trying to tame her husband's boyfriend's beard.
Exactly, right? You primary, secondary, tertiary audiences exist. Right? It's not one size fits all. Right? You can still, again, I said it before, you can do marketing 80% right and get it 100% wrong.
So this actually flows directly into this next question. I don't know who did this question list up, but this was fantastic.
Wasn't it you?
It was me, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for highlighting that. Where do most marketers waste time or money trying to fix lead quality but end up with the same poor results? So whether or not that's trying to go more broad but making sure the messaging's still relevant, fixing their targeting, all this type of stuff. They get poor quality leads coming in. They try to fix lead quality. Nothing changes. Like what typically happens that you see?
So typically, what ends up happening is you will have, I'd say, one of three main errors. Attribution is one. You've done something wrong with your attribution, in which case, I should say attribution, but like what you're targeting as your success metric, your conversion metric. So we had an instance where we had an e-commerce client who was targeting begin checkout as a primary conversion. Okay, and what that meant was that when someone began the checkout, that was success in the ads eyes, in the learning. And this was bad if I just said that to you, it doesn't sound bad. People who began checkout, that seems good. That's pretty far down the funnel. Well, if I told you then that the website had a finance option because it was a higher ticket item, and that finance option, in order to see the payment, you couldn't see it without clicking into begin checkout. So people were not beginning checkout because they had a purchase intent. They were beginning checkout because they were seeking information.
Okay.
So the intent and the desire were different, right? So that could be an error. Two could be you get a marketer who sees everything and they're getting low quality leads. And it's like, okay, well, why? For instance, with us, we had an error where our call to action that we had placed at the top of our website made it look like it was anchor text that was supposed to drop you down or like send you lower the page or bring you to a spot where you would learn about what the steps are. But we had people filling out forms because of where it was on the page. It was too early. So that was like a landing page optimization issue. And then the last one can just very, very simply be that they go in to fix something that's actually working and they haven't given it enough time. Or they have pressure from the client to have results because maybe the client doesn't see their results as good quality and they're not able to, as the marketing agency, relay the reason as to why there needs to be time and patience.
Okay. So how often do you go in to take a look at quality? Like how top of mind is that for you in all the optimizations that we do for our clients?
So it's one of those things where we check the accounts every single day. We obviously we do our daily optimizations. We spend time in the accounts every single day. But the point that I need to kind of always touch base is we touch base when it comes to, say, a lead gen client. We touch base with them in our weekly calls. And we go, hey, how are things? Are they good? Are they bad? And you kind of want to suss that out very, very early. Because that when you're setting it all up, that is when you've spent the least amount of money. It's when you're kind of beginning all the stuff and you're able to do all those kind of tweaks.
Sure.
We have a client who at the very early stages we were tweaking and it wasn't right, so we made some changes. And then it got to the point where it's like, yep, we're getting good quality leads now. We stopped talking about the quality of leads. Okay. We stopped talking about it because now it was about ensuring that the volume was coming through because we had established that what we were doing was correct to get to the right people. Right?
So once you set that course, does does that typically sustain for a period of time without having to just beat it to death with quality? Is there a time that you should revisit to kind of, what are the signs you look for that quality has to come back into the conversation?
The client bitching about it.
Okay, fair.
Sure. No, well, at the end of the day, there's a sales team who receives that lead, right? I'm not selling the product for them. I'm not going to close that lead for them. I'm going to make sure they get there. I'm going to do all that stuff, and then that's my job. So if we've established a baseline of, yep, nope, everything's coming through great, awesome, I leave it to them to tell me if something has started to lag behind. We'll do checkups. We have a client who has been running very successfully now for 5-6 months, and we touch base with them every quarter about, hey, sorry, they still get good quality, like they're still good, because he doesn't say anything about it. But like, if you were running a business and your lead quality went from good to bad, and you employ a marketing agency to get you those leads, are you going to say something or just keep silent and scream into the darkness?
So pay attention.
No, the client needs to pay attention.
Yes,
the
that's what
client
I
needs to
meant.
be
The client
aware
needs to pay
of that
attention
and
and
then communicate.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just be like, oh, they're getting bad leads. Oh, well, this marketing company's no good anymore. No, I don't know what the lead is like because I didn't answer the call.
Fair.
Communicate that to me and let me know if something has changed. Maybe there's a buying behavior. Maybe something changed in your industry that you didn't communicate. Maybe something changed with your business or your pricing or something that you didn't communicate to us and we weren't able to catch. Sometimes we can catch it based on our checks and balances and identifying, what industry trends are doing, what's being talked about in the space that they exist in, things of that nature. Sometimes we can't. We have, what is it now? We have probably over 20 plus clients that we do paid advertising for. I'm not going to be able to be in 20 plus industries at the level that those business owners are. Fair. That's what they get paid to do. That's how they make all their money, right? We're marketers.
I like that. Okay. To wrap off the kind of end here, we're going to test a little bit about your sales. Is this sales, perhaps? What would it be? SFAC? SFAC? Once a lead comes in, and you can get from obviously your marketing perspective, once a lead comes in, how do you see marketing and sales working best together to qualify, nurture, and close this deal? So you could even tell from a perspective, obviously the marketing side. Maybe this helps a business owner that's listening, that's getting inbound sales, getting inbound leads. Sales aren't quite jiving together.
It's identifying and actually, okay, so first and foremost, let's make the assumption that it was a good MQL. We're going to operate with the assumption that the MQL in this case was good. Okay? Yep. So you give it to the sales team. So say sales comes back and they go, oh, this was actually not a good lead. Well, the first conversation that needs to be had is why? Why do they feel that? Identify what the reason is, what they're seeing, and understand that maybe the MQL qualification is incorrect, right? Maybe there's a piece that was missing because you hooked it up with, their internal marketing team or the business owner, someone who was maybe a couple steps, degrees detached from the actual sales process. It had been a while since they'd sold because now they moved into a more management role, things of that nature. They're not boots on ground. It could be an instance of all of their consumers or all of their people who are the leads are saying something very, very similar that we need to be made aware of. And that's where we can work together to be like, hey, all of them are asking us this, or all of them are saying that this is one of the things that they were looking for. Can we add that to the qualifications, right? Because that helps pre-qualify, right? If they're finding that that's a break or a go, no go. Let's call it that. Go, no go questions, you need to communicate back up because those can be really, really important to know either for a messaging standpoint, a brand standpoint, or even just building into the pre-qualification process that your marketing team does. The other things that you can also need to work with a sales team is identifying when sales is just being, and don't take this wrong, sales, lazy or miserable?
Never. What
never.
Are you talking about? Never, no. Dude.
It never happens at sales.
Not in this office, brother.
But sales can get down on themselves, can get miserable with themselves, or can get jaded. And when they can burn leads. You've heard of burning leads.
For sure.
Right? Where it was a perfectly fine lead, but the guy who handled it is still a human. At the end of the day, we're still people.
Yeah. Very, very fair point.
Right? And
very fair point.
You can't remove the human element.
Yep.
You shouldn't remove the human element, right? AI is great and all, but it can't do 100% of the job yet.
Yep.
And thus you're still going to have that aspect. So that's where you have the debriefs with the people who are the decision makers, who are, involved in those meetings, to identify gaps in process, gaps in qualification, gaps in messaging, things like that. And that's where sales and marketing come together. They are legitimately brother and sister to each other. They have to work together, but they will bicker and squabble like any siblings.
Is this going to turn into ISFAC? I think this is going to turn into the ISFAC. One more sales-related question, and then we're going to wrap it up with a big question. And again, this is purely sales-related. This is out of your wheelhouse, but that was a good answer for the first one. How do you keep quality leads from slipping through the cracks, especially when sales cycles are long or teams are small? And from the perspective of, can marketing play any role in this, or is this completely sales wheelhouse?
No, it's actually marketing can assist. So marketing can help with doing nurture-based sales or nurture-based marketing, email marketing, remarketing in paid world, or just employing nurture funnels internally that marketing can help with by creating your brand messaging, creating the materials that you send out. Maybe you have a content marketer who's helping build a resource hub that has all those things that can send out, case studies, what be it. Those type of things are where marketing aids after the initial touch point. So and that's when sales lagged, the sales funnel hit a bump and they could not close, but they're not dead. Let's go back to the automotive side of it. You'll see that guy comes in, test drives car, leaves, never comes back. Well, you can either have the salesperson call them forever, right? And they might not, they might never call them.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe. Oh, that guy left, he's never coming back. You can employ both. You can have the sales guy doing some follow-up stuff, but you could also build an email marketing campaign, which maybe has a small offer built into it, or just talks about the benefits of doing business with that business, brand messaging, things of that nature can be done. Or naturally in your paid advertising strategies, you should have remarketing built in naturally. That should then retarget certain people, and you can build up audiences to do that kind of nature and stuff. Or funnel your CRM back into your marketing engine.
I like it. Okay. You get 60 seconds or less to answer this last question because we're almost out of time. Truth bomb. You didn't like my previous one. Got a new one. If you could make every business owner / marketer forget one thing that they think they know about marketing, what would that be?
That they know everything about marketing. I mean, your preconceived notions mean nothing. The whole strategy or the idea of every good plan is great until you actually have to do it. You can get punched in the face right away. We had a strategy, we thought it was awesome. It looked really, really good. It was sound. It was based on good data. It was based on historical information. Launched it. Nope. Wasn't great. It didn't work. Well, then you got to pivot, right? So the idea of don't be married to your idea so much so that you are blind to the results.
Be open-minded. I like it. Cool. Okay. That's all for today. I would like to thank our sponsors, wherever we got this plant. No shout out for them, but beautiful plant. Every episode we put out is built on real, hard-won lessons from the trenches, helping our clients grow, win, and connect with the people they're here to serve. We're sharing the things that we wish we knew 10 years ago, so you don't have to pay the same ignorance tax we have to get to where we are right now. If you found this valuable, subscribe on your favorite platform. Check us out on setsail.ca to learn more about how we can help your business grow.